sometimes you just have to take a step back from something in your life and really evaluate what is the purpose of this? What is the point of it? For example, if you go to the gym, if you exercise, you have a reason. You should have a reason. Why are you working out? Is it purely for aesthetics? Do you want to get stronger? Do you want to be able to run a mile in 5 minutes? Do you want to be more flexible, or something else? You should have a goal. You should have a training program that's getting to that goal. But I won't go down that path today. What we're talking about is social media. Have you ever asked yourself, what is the point of social media? Maybe it's to connect with family and friends. Maybe you live far away from them like I do, and you want to stay connected with all the people you've ever met. But when I take a step back from social media, I start to realize that it has far surpassed that purpose. I see more content from people that I don't know than from people I do know. More ads than posts from people I actually care about. Let me tell you a few things I discovered when I did take a step back from Instagram, and I actually quit it for the entire month of October, as well as Facebook. But Facebook, we're not going to talk about so much. First thing I realized is that Instagram adds almost no value to my life. When I think back over the past nearly decade of my life that I have had an Instagram account, the very few moments and memories my brain found it worth saving are a few times I posted something and gotten really nice comments. For example, it was so fun to announce my engagement and that I got married and have all the people say congratulations, you look so beautiful. Of course that felt good. Of course I wanted to have that. But that's what I remember, honestly. The day-to-day things that I am posting and seeing, I don't really live on in my brain. Along the way, there have been a few things that I've learned or reels that I found really interesting. Now I even have folders where I save everything that I want to come back to at later stages of life. But overall, I can't really pinpoint an effect that it's had on my life, at least not a positive one. Don't get me wrong, I do appreciate being able to stay connected to family and friends and being able to see and celebrate with them in major life events, but that's not how most of my time on the app is spent. Which brings me to point number 2. The homepage algorithm, what it currently is just completely turned me off from the app. This kind of happened with Facebook as well. First of all, I no longer exclusively see posts from people I follow. I see all sorts of random things I never subscribe to. I also see repeat posts, like things I saw before and I didn't like, or things that I did like before from 2 weeks ago or a month ago pop back up in the feed, and I don't understand the purpose of showing me that again. It's also something that happens on Facebook, but Facebook is an entirely different nightmare, as I mentioned, which I just don't use because maybe 1 in 100 times that I use Facebook, I actually see something from someone that I would like to see. And it's not just them sharing some random thing that I absolutely do not care about. Sorry, but sometimes people share things I'm like, I don't care about this. And also, I never needed to see that. But back to Instagram, the homepage is just not what it used to be. However, I will say these apps know what they're doing. They do a good job of getting you hooked right away. Most of the time, I notice that the first thing that pops up in the app is something from somebody I actually know, especially if a significant amount of time has lapsed since the last time I used the app. It might even give me a more important life event, like someone got engaged or someone's having a baby, something like that. But most of the time it does show me right away something from somebody I actually know or actually knew at some point in my life, and not just the random content that I'm seeing as I scroll on. And if it's not from somebody I know, if I have opened the app recently, it'll often show me something from a page that I interact with frequently or actually watch their whole videos, and that's a good trap to keep me scrolling. Now, I have tried to curate my feed. I've gone into people whose posts I really don't want to see, and I've hidden their posts from my feed. I try to report content I don't want to see, ads that are just too repetitive. But even that doesn't really curate my feed to be things that I actually care about. Also, every once in a while, maybe I'll think about someone and I'll check their page and I'll see new posts from them on their page that never showed up for me in my feed, and I never hid that person. It just doesn't make sense to me. Those are my problems with Instagram. You have little control over what you see. And personally for me, images stay in my head. If I see something graphic, if I see something terrible, those images stay in my head, and Instagram just shows you these things. They just pop up. And it only takes a second for your brain to capture that memory, to capture that photo that you saw. This is one reason I prefer YouTube. While, yes, you're kind of the same, you can't really control what appears on your homepage, you can control what you click on and spend 10 minutes watching. That is absolutely a personal choice. Now, number 3, my third comment about Instagram is that not only has the app become just a waste of time with regards to consuming content, but I also stopped posting. I think the last time I posted was maybe the beginning of July, and 4 months have now passed, and I don't have anything else to post. Before that, I'd also really never been the consistent poster. I think there was at one point in my life, a time when I cared, like, maybe I should try to post once a week or something, but then I was just like, why? Why do I have to post once a week? Who says I do? And I've also seriously been considering my motives, my own personal motives behind posting. I challenge you to think about this for yourself. What are your motives for posting? Like really, your real motives. If you're a journaler, then this could be a really good journal prompt. What are you really seeking to gain by putting those pictures on the internet for your followers, or if your account is public, then for the public to see? When I consider those questions for myself, I can't say I found a good answer. Sometimes I would post life announcements like, as I mentioned previously, getting engaged, married, big moves, graduations. But in reality, those posts made up a rather small portion of everything I've ever posted. Another small portion of posts were to celebrate someone else in my life, their graduation or their wedding. A larger amount were from trips that I took, and the final group of posts is just moments from daily life. Things that I probably was reaching a little bit. I was probably thinking, take this picture of me, maybe I can post something on Instagram. I haven't posted in a while. So while many photos happen naturally, I can't help but wonder how many hours of my life I have spent on these photos. First, there's convincing someone to take a picture of me wherever I may be, usually a family member or a friend. Second, posing for these pictures, figuring out how to pose well with the end goal of I want to post this on Instagram. Third, there's checking the photos. Fourth, retaking them if necessary. Then there's a long process of choosing the right photo out of dozens that you've taken. I've taken. I'll keep it personal here. Choosing the right order if you choose post multiples. I think that feature that Instagram brought in was a win and a loss. Just lost more time thinking of how many pictures can I fit in this post, which ones do I want to post, rather than just having to pick one and just put that one out there. Anyways, and then there's the overthinking. Oh, should I actually post this? Like, who follows me? Oh, that person follows me. I really want them to see this. And then finally, choosing the right caption to the post, which sometimes I don't even do. I just post an emoji. And then the posting. Oh, and then if you actually care, there's like, should I post it today? What about posting it later today? Because people will be home at work and more people will like it. It just starts to get ridiculous. And I think about how much time wasted on this. And I'm certainly not saying that all these steps are involved in every single post. And probably for you it's different. Maybe you don't overthink things and you don't even think about any of this. That's great for you. Some photos do happen more naturally, like it's a family gathering or an event where people are already taking pictures. But I would venture out to say that any time that I've spent deliberating over an Instagram post is time that would have been better spent elsewhere. It brings me back to the question of what are we trying to get out of posting? I am not going to say that you should stop taking pictures. I will always love taking pictures of the places I've been, special memories, little daily things I want to remember. I think I will always love that and appreciate having photos from various moments in my life. We're just going to talk about posting or even taking pictures for the sole purpose of posting them on social media. For me and for many other people, the purpose, the goal is we want to be seen, we want to be liked, accepted, appreciated. I think we all know by now that our phones can be addictive. Social media can be addictive. Every like and comment or post provides a little dopamine hit, a little bit of happiness that just keeps us coming back. Even though I wasn't posting on Instagram for the 2 or 3 months before I stopped using it altogether for a month, I was still going on the app every single day. Another factor to consider is comparison. Everybody talks about this, so I won't bore you with the whole we only put our best selves online, so you're comparing your worst to somebody else's highlight reel trope. We all know that by now. I'm sure you can evaluate for yourself if you're comparing yourself to people on Instagram or not. One thing I do want to mention is something that I've heard recently, probably in the past year, and I've since fully grasped onto that belief. And it is that as humans, we weren't meant to know about this many people. We weren't meant to keep tabs on so many connections. Personally, I believe that's up to God. He can keep track of all the people in the world. That's not my job. It's not my job to worry about every single news article, worry about every single problem, or keep tabs on 500, 600, 10,000 different people. That's not my place. I'm one person. I'll leave that to God. If you think about life before the internet or even before mass media, people knew about those around them, those in their village, those in their town. They had no way of knowing the problems or even the successes or the life accomplishments, the life milestones of people thousands and hundreds of thousands of miles away. They worried about themselves, they took care of themselves, and were probably less stressed out because of it. When I stopped going on Instagram and Facebook, I took on another challenge. Maybe I'll make a video about this. Maybe I won't. But it has to do with YouTube. That's my one hint. And that challenge required a significant time commitment from me. It was one of those things I knew I could easily avoid by simply using the age-old excuse, I don't have the time. But when I wasn't using these social media platforms, I didn't find myself using that excuse. Because the reality is, I did have the time. I didn't even feel anxious about it most days because I simply didn't have all this time being eaten up by something that seemed so harmless. Just a minute here, I'll be scrolling, just a few seconds there, I'll check Facebook, and just another couple of minutes on Instagram. And I have those time limits in place, but it's way too easy. Just press another 15 minutes, another minute. So I didn't feel anxious about this new time commitment. I didn't feel stressed about time and wasn't as worried about things when I did give up checking Instagram and Facebook. And I will say, yes, I spent a significant amount of time on YouTube. But for me, as I mentioned, it's different. I can choose what to spend 20 minutes or 30 minutes watching. Instagram, things just pop up. You just get sucked into scrolling. Ugh. But self-control. Self-control is always good. So if you made it this far, I want to challenge you to, first of all, question your social media use. Question your motives behind it. Why are you posting? What are you doing while you're on Instagram? Why are you using this app? And then second, I want to challenge you to give it up for a period of time. It could be a week, it could be a day, whatever you feel might be a little bit of a challenge, might push you a little bit without seeming totally unreasonable and undoable. And see what you can accomplish in that time. See how much time you get back. You just might be surprised at how much time you have.